The rope burned Kwame's wrists. It was tight. Too tight. His hands were tied behind his back, and every small movement sent pain through his arms. Dust clung to his bare feet as he stood in the middle of the open square. People surrounded him in a wide circle. Men, women, even children, peeking between adults to see better. Some held stones, others held long sticks. No one smiled. "Which boy?" someone shouted. "He feeds the Madwoman." Kwame's chest rose and fell fast. His mouth felt dry. He tried to speak, but his voice came out small. "I only gave her food." No one listened. He searched the crowd with wide eyes, hoping to find just one person who would step forward. Just one face that still saw him as a boy, not a curse. Then he saw her, Madwoman, the woman who sold smoked fish near the roadside. The woman who once told him, "You remind me of my son." The woman who promised, "If trouble ever comes, I will speak for you." "Madwoman," Kwame whispered, "please." She took one step forward. Kwame's heart jumped. Then she stopped. Her eyes moved away from his face. She pressed her lips together and slowly stepped back into the crowd. Something broke inside Kwame. A man raised a stone. Kwame shut his eyes. And then a clear, sharp voice cut through the noise. "Stop." The crowd froze. A woman pushed her way into the circle. Her clothes were torn. Her hair was wild. Dust covered her face and feet. Her eyes looked strange, too calm, too focused. The Madwoman, the same woman Kwame fed every day. She walked straight toward him, not stumbling, not laughing, not talking to herself. She walked like someone who knew exactly where she was going. Kwame opened his eyes. She looked at the crowd, then turned to him, and for the first time since he met her, she spoke his name. "Kwame." Her voice was steady, clear, not broken at all. Kwame's stomach twisted, because that voice did not sound like a madwoman's voice. It sounded like the voice of someone who had always been listened to. But before you understand why she stepped into that circle, you need to know how Kwame became the boy with nothing, and how feeding one forgotten woman became the reason people wanted him dead. Kwame was 17 years old. He lived alone at the edge of a small Ghanaian town in a weak wooden shack that leaned to one side. The door did not close properly. The floor had gaps that let dust crawl in every day. His parents were gone. His mother died first after a long sickness. On her last day, she pulled Kwame close and whispered words that stayed inside him. "When you have nothing left, give kindness." 2 years later, his father followed her, not from an accident, not from a fight, but from tiredness and pain. After that, no one came. No relatives, no helpers, just Kwame. Every morning, Kwame woke up early, even when hunger sat heavy in his stomach. He washed his face with a small cup of water, wore his cleanest shirt, and picked up his basket of oranges. He walked to the roadside where people passed in a hurry. "Fresh oranges," he called softly. "Sweet oranges." Some people stopped, many did not. Some laughed at his torn slippers. Others looked away like he was invisible. Kwame stayed quiet, not because he was weak, because he had learned that fighting the world alone only makes you tired. Then there was Mr. Leonard Quay, his landlord, a tall man with a loud voice. Every month, Mr. Quay came to Kwame's shack and banged on the door. "Kwame, rent." Kwame would step outside slowly. "Sir, please give me small time." Mr. Quay would point his finger close to Kwame's face. "Time does not feed me. If you do not pay, I will throw you out." "Yes, sir," Kwame would reply. Then he went back to selling oranges and tried harder. Some days he ate well. Most days he did not. Still, Kwame tried to be kind, because his mother's words lived inside him. That was before the Madwoman appeared. No one knew where she came from. One day, she was just there, walking slowly through the town. Her clothes were dirty. Her hair was rough. She did not beg. She did not ask for help. Sometimes she sat near the market and stared at the ground for hours. People feared her. "She brings bad luck," they said. "Do not let her touch your child." Men chased her away with stones. Women pulled their children close. The Madwoman never fought back. She only moved away. Kwame first noticed her near an old footbridge behind the market. She sat alone, hugging her knees. She looked thin, lost, hungry. Kwame stood there with his basket, his heart beating fast. He had only a small bowl of food at home, very small. His stomach already hurt. Then his mother's voice returned to him. Give kindness. That evening, Kwame carried his food to the bridge. The madwoman sat in the same place. He placed the bowl beside her. He did not speak. He walked away. That night, Kwame slept hungry. The next morning, he returned. The bowl was empty, clean, placed neatly where he left it. Something tightened in his chest. So he did it again, and again. Every day, Kwame fed the madwoman. Even when people watched him, even when they warned him, "You are calling trouble," one woman hissed. When bad things happen, remember this boy. A man said, "She is human." Kwame said once, "She is not evil." People laughed. Then things began to change. A shop lost money. A child fell sick. A goat went missing. Fear needed someone to blame, and the whispers began. It started when Kwame fed that madwoman. He is working with spirits. Kwame did not hear the whispers at first, until Madame Abena came to him one afternoon, her face tight. "Kwame," she said quietly, "people are talking. They say the elders will call you." Kwame felt cold inside. "But she will starve," he whispered. Madame Abena did not answer. Then shouting rose from the road. Kwame looked up. A group of men were walking toward him fast. At the front was Mr. Leonard Quay, pointing straight at him. "That is him," he shouted. "The orphan boy." Kwame stood up slowly. Oranges rolled from his basket. The men did not stop. They were coming for him. Kwame did not look back. He clutched his empty basket as he ran, oranges long forgotten on the road behind him. People stepped aside as he passed. Some watched with wide eyes. Others joined the chase without even knowing why. Fear spreads fast. Kwame turned a corner and nearly fell. He caught himself on a wall and kept running. His chest burned. His legs felt weak. "Why are they chasing me?" he thought. Even though he already knew. Because of her. Because he fed the madwoman. As he ran, his mind slipped back to the beginning, before shouting, before fear, before people started calling his name with anger, before the madwoman became a problem. She appeared in town quietly. No warning, no noise. One morning, as Kwame sat by the roadside calling out for customers, he noticed people staring in one direction. He followed their eyes and saw her, a woman, dirty, silent. Her dress was torn and hung loosely on her thin body. Her hair was rough and uncombed. She walked slowly, like each step took effort. She did not beg. She did not speak. She simply walked, then stopped, then sat on the ground. People stared. Then they started whispering. "Who is she? She was not here before." Children laughed and pointed. Men waved their hands at her. "Move away. You will spoil business." When she did not move fast enough, someone threw a small stone near her feet. Not to hit her, just to scare her. She flinched. Then she stood and walked away quietly. That was how the madwoman became known. Every day, she appeared in a new place. Near the market, beside the road, behind the shops. Always alone, always silent. People chased her everywhere. "She brings bad luck," they said. "Ever since she came, things are not right." Women pulled their children close. Men warned her to stay away from their shops. Kwame watched all of this. He watched how nobody asked if she was hungry. He watched how nobody cared where she slept. He watched how everyone saw her as a problem, not a person. One afternoon, after selling only a few oranges, Kwame walked behind the market to rest. That was when he saw her sitting close to the old footbridge. She hugged her knees and stared at the ground. A dog barked at her. She did not move. Kwame felt something twist inside his chest. That look on her face, it was the same look he saw in his own reflection sometimes. The look of being alone. That evening, Kwame stood inside his small shack, holding the little food he had managed to buy. It was not much, just enough for one person. His stomach already hurt. He stared at the bowl for a long time. Then his mother's voice came back to him, soft but clear. "When you have nothing left, give kindness." Kwame took a deep breath. He carried the bowl and walked back toward the bridge. The madwoman was still there. Kwame placed the food beside her carefully. He did not touch her. He did not speak. He turned and walked away. That night, Kwame slept hungry. The next morning, before going to sell oranges, he passed by the bridge. The bowl was empty, clean, placed neatly where he left it. Kwame's heart beat faster, so he did it again, and again. Every day, Kwame fed the madwoman. Some days it was rice, some days it was yam, Some days it was only a small portion of whatever he could find. He never asked her name. He never asked where she came from. He never waited for her to thank him. People noticed. "Why do you waste food on her?" a woman asked. "She is cursed," another said. "Do you want her trouble to follow you?" Kwame shook his head. "She is hungry," he said quietly. What Kwame did not know was that the madwoman was watching him too. At night, when the town slept, she sat under the bridge with her back straight and her eyes clear. She was not mad. Her name was Princess Adama, the king's only daughter. She had left the palace in disguise to see her people for herself, to understand how they treated the weak, to know the truth before ruling them. She had seen cruelty. She had seen fear. Then she met Kwame, the boy who shared his last food, the boy who expected nothing in return. As Kwame ran now, with people shouting behind him, Princess Adama stood from her place near the bridge. She watched the chase, and for the first time since she came to the town, she took a step forward. Because the kindness she came to test was about to cost Kwame everything. The madwoman took one step forward, then another step forward. People noticed. Someone shouted, "She is following them." Another voice answered, "See, they are together." The men chasing Kwame ran faster. Kwame's legs finally gave up. He stumbled near the edge of the square and fell hard to the ground. His palms scraped against the dust. Before he could stand, hands grabbed him from behind. "Got him!" They dragged him to his feet. Kwame's chest rose and fell quickly. His head spun. "I did nothing wrong," he said again, his voice shaking. "I only gave her food. Food that brought trouble." A man shouted. The madwoman stopped a short distance away. She did not come closer. She did not speak. She only watched as they pulled Kwame away. That night, the town did not sleep well. People gathered in small groups, talking in low voices. Doors were left half open. Faces were serious. Fear had entered the town, and fear always looks for someone to blame. The next morning, the whispers grew louder. "Did you hear? Did you hear? Ever since that orphan boy started feeding that madwoman, bad things have happened. My shop did not sell well yesterday. My goat went missing. My child cried all night. Nobody spoke about mistakes. Nobody spoke about chance. They spoke about Kwame. He is calling bad spirits. He is working with her. He brought her here." Kwame sat by the roadside with his basket of oranges, but nobody bought from him. People walked past him like he was not there. Some looked at him with fear, others with anger. A stone landed near his feet. Kwame flinched. He picked up his basket and stood up slowly. As he turned to leave, a soft voice called his name, "Kwame." He turned. Madame Abina stood a short distance away. Her face looked tired, worried. Kwame felt a small hope rise inside him. "Madam," he said quickly, "please talk to them. I did nothing wrong." Madame Abina looked around before speaking. "Kwame," she said quietly, "people are angry." "I know," Kwame replied, "but you know me. You know I would not hurt anyone." She sighed. "I know you are kind," she said, "but kindness can be dangerous." Kwame stared at her. "What do you mean?" She lowered her voice. "You must stop feeding that woman." Kwame's heart dropped. "If you stop," she continued, "people will calm down. They will forget. But she will starve," Kwame said. "She has nobody." Madame Abena shook her head. "You must think of yourself," she said. "You are young. You have your whole life ahead of you." Kwame stepped closer. "You promised to protect me," he said softly. "You said I was like a son to you." Madame Abena's eyes filled for a moment. Then fear crossed her face. "I cannot fight the whole town," she whispered. "Please, Kwame, stop before it is too late." She turned and walked away. Kwame stood there, frozen. The one person he believed would stand with him had stepped aside. That evening, Kwame sat inside his small shack with the last food he had. His hands shook as he divided it, half for himself, half for the madwoman. His stomach hurt badly. He stared at the food for a long time. Then he stood up. He walked toward the bridge. The madwoman sat there quietly, just like always. Kwame placed the food beside her. "I am sorry," he whispered. "People are angry." The madwoman looked at him. Her eyes were calm, steady, like she understood more than she showed. Kwame forced a small smile. "I will come tomorrow," he said. He did not know it would be the last time he would walk freely through the town. That night, men gathered at the elder's house. Voices were loud, hands pointed. This boy must be stopped. He will destroy us. The madwoman and the orphan must go. An elder stood up. We will call him tomorrow, he said. He will answer for what he has done. The decision was made. Early the next morning, heavy knocks hit Kwame's door. Open. Kwame jumped up from his mat. Before he could reach the door, it was pushed open. Men rushed in. They grabbed him. Please, Kwame cried. Please listen to me. They did not listen. They dragged him outside. People followed. Whispers turned into shouts. Witch boy! Curse bringer! Kwame looked around desperately. He searched for Madame Abina. He saw her standing at the edge of the crowd. Their eyes met. She did not move. Kwame's heart broke. As they dragged him toward the square, the madwoman stood under the bridge and watched. Her hands clenched into fists, and for the first time since she came to the town, anger flashed across her face. They dragged Kwame into the square before the sun climbed high. His hands were tied tightly behind his back. The rope cut into his skin. Each step hurt, but he did not cry out. People followed behind, filling the space with noise. Shouts, whispers, angry words. Witch boy, he brought her here. He must pay. Kwame stumbled and fell to his knees in the dust. Someone pulled him up again by the rope. His shirt tore at the shoulder. His lips shook, but he forced himself to stand. At the center of the square, the elders sat on wooden benches. Their faces were hard. No one smiled. An elder stood. This boy, he said loudly, has brought trouble to our town. Since he began feeding that madwoman, nothing has been right. The crowd murmured in agreement. He works with dark forces, another elder added. He refuses to listen to warnings. Kwame lifted his head. I did not do witchcraft, he said. His voice was weak but clear. I only gave her food. A man shouted back, that is how it starts. Another voice cried, stone him. Kwame's heart pounded. He searched the crowd one last time. He looked for Madame Abina. He found her near the back, her hands pressed together, her eyes full of fear. Madam, Kwame whispered, please. She took a small step forward. Then she stopped. She lowered her head. Kwame understood. He was alone. An elder raised his hand. Bring the rope tighter, he ordered. The rope burned into Kwame's wrists. A thin line of blood ran down his arm. Stones were passed from hand to hand. Kwame closed his eyes. His chest felt tight, but his mind grew quiet. This is how it ends, he thought. Then, inside his heart, something gentle spoke. At least I was kind. That thought warmed him more than the help ever did. Do it, the elder said. A stone lifted into the air. Stop. The voice was calm, strong. The square went silent. People turned. The madwoman stepped forward. She walked slowly into the circle, her back straight, her eyes sharp. The crowd parted without thinking, like they were being pushed by something unseen. She is coming, someone whispered. She wants to save him, another said. A man shouted, get her away. But nobody moved. The madwoman stopped beside Kwame. She looked at him. For a moment, her eyes softened. Then she turned to the crowd. I said stop, she repeated. Her voice carried across the square. An elder frowned. You have no place here, he said. You are the cause of this trouble. The madwoman reached up and pulled at the torn cloth around her neck. It fell away. Under it was a string of beads, clean, bright, and carved with symbols many people recognized. Gasps spread through the crowd. She straightened her back. Her voice changed. I am Princess Adomar, she said, daughter of the king. Silence. The stones fell from people's hands. The elders froze. I lived among you in disguise, she continued, her voice steady. I wanted to know how my people treat the weak. I wanted to see kindness when no reward is promised. One sued, she pointed at Kwame. This boy fed me when I was nothing. When you chased me, he brought food. When you threw stones, he brought kindness. Tears filled her eyes. And you, she said, turning to the crowd, were ready to kill him for it. People dropped to their knees. Forgive us, someone cried. We did not know. Another begged. Princess Adomar knelt beside Kwame and untied the rope. His hands shook as the rope fell away. You are free, she said softly. Kwame stared at her, his mind spinning. You watched? He whispered. She met his eyes. Yes, she said. Kwame's chest tightened. Before he could speak again, royal guards stepped into the square from all sides. The elders trembled. Princess Adoma stood and faced the crowd. The guards moved fast. They stepped forward from the edges of the square and took hold of the elders. No one resisted. No one spoke. Heads were bowed. Faces were pale. Princess Adoma's voice stayed calm. Take the elders for judgment, she said. As for the rest of you, remember this day. The crowd stayed silent. Then she turned to Kwame and held out her hand. Come with me. Kwame stood still. His wrists still hurt where the rope had been. His legs felt weak. The noise in his head had not stopped yet. He looked at her hand. Then he looked at the crowd, the same people who had lifted stones moments ago. Some were crying. Some were ashamed. Some could not look at him at all. Kwame took a slow breath. He stepped forward and placed his hand in hers. The walk out of the square felt unreal. People moved aside as they passed. Nobody spoke. Nobody shouted anymore. The madwoman was gone. In her place walked a princess, tall and steady, her head held high. Outside the town, a long black vehicle waited. Kwame had never seen anything like it so close. A guard opened the door. Get in, Princess Adoma said gently. Kwame hesitated. I have never, he started, then stopped. She gave a small smile. Neither had I, once. Kwame climbed inside. The seat felt too soft, too clean. He pressed his hands together on his lap, afraid to touch anything. The vehicle moved. Kwame watched the town fade behind them through the window. The market, the roadside, the footbridge, the place where his life had been small. They arrived at the palace before his mind could catch up. Tall gates opened slowly. Wide grounds stretched out before them. Clean paths, quiet air. Everything looked still and bright. Kwame stepped out and froze. He felt out of place in his torn clothes and worn slippers. Servants bowed. Welcome back, Your Highness, they said. Princess Adoma nodded. She turned to Kwame. You are safe here. They led him inside. The palace walls were wide and smooth. The floors shone. Kwame walked carefully, afraid of leaving dirt behind. They took him to a room with clean water, fresh clothes, and food placed neatly on a table. Eat, a servant said kindly. Rest. Kwame stared at the food. His hands shook as he picked up a piece. He took one bite, then another. Warmth spread through his body. His chest tightened. Tears filled his eyes. He covered his face with his hands and cried. Not loud, just deep. After he washed and changed, a guard came for him. The king will see you now. It bid. Kwame's heart jumped. The throne room was quiet and wide. At the front sat the king, an older man with calm eyes and a gentle face. Princess Adoma stood beside him. Come forward, my son, the king said. Kwame walked slowly. He knelt. No, the king said softly. Stand. Kwame stood. The king studied him for a long moment. So you are the boy who fed my daughter when she had nothing, the king said. Kwame lowered his eyes. I only gave food. The king smiled. You gave more than food, he said. You gave dignity. He stood. In all my years, the king continued, I have seen power, wealth, and pride, but true goodness without reward is rare. He placed a hand on Kwame's shoulder. You are welcome here. This palace is your home. Kwame's chest felt heavy. Thank you, he whispered. Later, after the hall emptied, Kwame found himself alone with Princess Adoma in a quiet space. She spoke first. You are angry with me. Kwame nodded. You watched, he said. His voice did not shake, but it hurt. You watched them insult me. You watched them chase me. You watched them tie me up. Princess Adoma looked down. Yes. Why? Kwame asked. Why did you not stop it earlier? She took a deep breath. My father sent me to learn the truth, she said. Not the kindness people show when they expect reward. The kindness that stays when it costs everything. Kwame's eyes burned. It cost me everything, he said. I thought I would die. I know, she said softly. And that will stay with me forever. Silence stretched between them. I do not know if I can trust you, Kwame said. She nodded. I would not ask you to, not yet. They stood there, two people changed by the same truth. That night, Kwame lay on a soft bed, staring at the ceiling. He was full. He was safe. Yet his heart felt unsure. Kindness had saved him. Kindness had almost killed him. As sleep finally came, one question stayed with him. Would he still choose kindness tomorrow? And that was where his new life truly began. Kindly let us know your view about this story, the city you're watching from, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Do have a blessed year ahead.